deles no Royal Albert Hall, um lugar em Londres, assim, um teatro finíssimo, belíssimo. E além disso também, ele vai falar sobre o relacionamento dele com os membros da banda. Afinal de contas, Yes tinha Bill Bruford, gênio da bateria, Stevie Howe, Rick Wakeman, só feríssima. Como é que era o relacionamento dele com a banda? Vamos conferir agora, John Anderson. What about the farewell concert of Cream in '68?
Well, again, you know, we all lived together. And we all had different rooms in a house.
Okay.
I was at the top, and then it was Chris, and then Bill was in the basement. Who else? Tony Kaye was in there, and I think Peter Banks lived in the north of London. And somebody rang us up at 9 o'clock in the evening saying, "Can you come and do a show at the Speakeasy?" We said, "Why?" He says, "Well, the band hasn't turned up that was supposed to play."
What band was that? Sly and Family Stone, yeah. Right about
so we sort of said, "Yeah, we'll do the show," and we didn't think, but obviously the club was full of all the people who coming to see Sly, and obviously there was very famous people there.
Yeah.
You know, the Who was there, a lot of bands that were famous people. So we're setting up our gear on stage and looking around the club, and
wow,
there's all these people. Wow, we're gonna play to these people.
Look who's there.
Man. And a lot of them didn't even know I was in a group, and I knew most of them because they would come to the club for a drink. So they'd say, "John, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm singing in the band." Hey, good for you. So they were sort of with us, you know, like it was like having fun together, you know. And we just did our show, and everybody loved it. And the manager of the club decided to manage us, and he had some friends.
After this concert?
Yeah, after this show.
It was a good show, so.
Yeah, it was great. And they were putting on this Cream farewell concert. They asked us, "Will we do the show?" And I said, "The Albert Hall with the Cream? Of course."
Of course,
it's like your dreams come true. Everything you ever wanted to be was just to play at the marquee. And now you're playing the Albert Hall, you know.
The Albert Hall was like the best place to do.
It's still the best for me. The best place I've ever played. It's just got, the acoustics are just incredible.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's for music, you know. It's a musical, beautiful place.
When you started composing like long songs, like in topographic,
yeah,
you know, long songs.
Well, basically it's very simple. When you're rehearsing with the band, and we would piece together ideas like Starship Trooper and around that time, because it's very simple. You have very interesting musicians. They're very talented. They've got a lot to say, so you have to have a bit more space for them to, okay, now we'll go to Rick and Steve doing this, and then we can go. So I was like the director of operations, you see. So I had these ideas, and then I'd say, "How long is this song?" And I think we should just finish now with this part and finish it. And we'd look at each other and say, "How long is this?" It's 9 minutes. Wow, that's great. And then when we did Close to the Edge, I just had a feeling that we could attempt a long piece of music, 20 minutes. And so we did an album with 2 10-minute pieces, which just then came naturally because we were already breathing the music better, and musically it worked. It had the, like you're painting a bigger picture. That's all.
Okay. And how did the crowd got that? Like, and the radio then?
Well, yeah, it's funny because in that time you're making you record a piece like Close to the Edge, and you have to do it in pieces because you do it in like 3 minute, 2 minute, 3, 5 minute, and stick it together with sellotape when you're recording, you see. So Close to the Edge was like a large piece of music, and we'd never performed it on stage. And then we sort of rehearsed it, and it felt long, felt really long, like a long time. And we started worrying, would the audience accept a long piece of music? Would they sit through it emotionally? So when we first did it, yes,
at that time, what happened in music?
Well,
Was the songs like shorter, or at that time there was many bands
it was
doing
around that
long
time with my Vishnu. We played our first concert of Close to the Edge was with my Vishnu and Elton John in Crystal Palace in London, and it was open air. It was a beautiful day, and we went on stage and said we're just going to play our new album, and we played it. And it seemed like a long time. It seemed like a long time. But at the end, the audience sort of said, "Oh, very, very good. That was a long one, a long song, you know." But obviously, the more you play it, mentally and everything, and then the more you do it, the audience start to accept that, okay, we are going to sit down for 10, 15 minutes and enjoy this piece of music.
Okay.
And then within a year, it became very fashionable. It was, you know, by then, it was a very fashionable time to go on stage and do a concert. You called it a concert. It wasn't rock and roll and give them a hit song, you know.
It was more than rock and roll.
Yeah, because we didn't know how to do hit songs. I was always frightened of being a one-hit wonder.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like you have a big hit and you're famous for 5 minutes, you know.
For 5 minutes and then...
Not really. I didn't like that idea. I thought I'd slowly develop as a musician.
And that's the way
that's where I'm still going.
That's
I'm still climbing the mountain.
That's great. 5 kind of genius in music. Does it help to compose music, or because you had a lot of change?
You don't think, yeah, you don't.
You had a lot of changes on the lineup.
You don't think about how big you are or what other people think about. Well, I don't. You know, like if somebody says, "Oh, you're very big in Japan," I think, "Wow, 6'3". I'm very tall in Japan. You know, I don't know. I don't think about it. To be very honest, I think I was, like, I thought about it for maybe a couple of days in 1973. I thought I was really famous, and then something happened, and it made me realize I'm just an ordinary musician. And
what happened? Could you tell me, for you to realize that?
Well, I didn't have musician on my passport. And I realized I wasn't really a musician until I learned to become a musician. So I started to practice the piano, and I realized it's very hard. And then slowly but surely I started to learn. And then I started to appreciate more the talent of the musicians that I was working with. Like the way that Rick plays is incredible. He has such technique, and Steve, and everybody, you know. So in a way, I was a very happy guy in the middle of these great people, and musician-wise, you know, talented-wise, you know. And they called me Napoleon.
Napoleon?
Yeah, because I'm tough, you know.
With the band?
Yeah, with anything to do with that music. You know, Paul knows about it. He knows I can be very dangerous.
Really?
Well,
talking about music?
Yeah, music. Music is so incredible. You've got to help each other to make it work. And if the team is not working, it's like if you can't score a goal, hey, come on, guys. It's not the defense, it's the attack, you know. Somebody's doing it wrong. So you have to, I'm the coach, you know, like scream at them, you know. Not scream at them.
Were you always the coach of the band?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
E continuamos, então, deschavando a carreira de John Anderson, né? Eu sou chato mesmo ali na entrevista. John, conta isso, conta aquilo. E uma hora até ele falou, pô, o que parece isso aqui? Parece uma sessão de análise. Eu falei, por aí mesmo. Continue contando. Próximo bloco, ele vai contar mais um monte, é só aguardar. Anderson é o nosso convidado, vocalista do Yes, e agora ele vai contar como é que começaram projetos solo na banda, né? Um começou aqui, daí o outro ali. John Anderson também se empolgou conferindo Mr. John Anderson. What about why Rick Wakeman left in '73?
I think a combination of things. He was very famous then because he had big hit records, you know, with the 6 Wives of Henry VIII, and then you know, all these things. He was becoming a star in his own career, and Yes is not an easy place to live sometimes. You know. And sometimes it's very hard to be in Yes, you know, because then basically the fulfillment of being in Yes is so great that it can be difficult in there sometimes. And he found it very difficult. He was very unhappy. And we talked about it, and I said, well, if you're unhappy, you have to go.
You have to go, yeah.
Because there's no point, you know. What's the point of, you know?
It's a team. anyway,
Yeah.
it's a team.
You know.
What about Patrick Moraz when he
Yeah, Patrick was
joined the band?
incredible for a year, and then he came to Brazil, and I don't know what happened to him. He came back in
This is a
another,
weird country.
in another world. It's
Really?
a mysterious country.
Mysterious country.
Yeah, yeah.
And why do you think that the critics, they consider Relayer, that was the only album
Yeah.
that Patrick recorded,
Yeah.
the worst album of Yes?
Do they? I
Yeah.
don't make music for critics. I'm not interested in what they say.
But
Unless
what
they
do you
say
think?
good things.
Yeah, of course.
When they say bad things, oh, they're terrible people.
But do you consider Relayer like, do you like this album? Do you think that's...
Some good music, good ideas. It's like the cover, it's a little gray.
And what, well, what's supposed to Vangelis,
Yeah,
for
at that
him
time.
to join at that time?
Yeah, you see, at that time, I was learning a little bit more about music. I was very interested in, I was listening then to Sibelius, Stravinsky, and all of a sudden I met Vangelis in Paris. I heard his music, and I wanted to meet this man. How does he do that? How does one man make so much music? And I went to see him to find out. And then we met, and we were like visiting my brother, you know, like somebody I knew from another world. And we became friends, and then when Rick said he was leaving, I thought, oh, Vangelis, yeah, Vangelis, hey, what are you doing? So we brought him to England, and he didn't work out.
Oh, but he tried.
He tried.
Okay.
But he's a, you know, he's a one-man orchestra.
That's it.
Unbelievable.
He cannot play in the team.
No.
At 5, when you started recording solo albums, was it a sign of
No.
the end of the band, or nothing to do with that?
No, it just needed...
It was just too much inspiration?
Too much. Everybody had so much energy, and so it just seemed logic to try and do solo ventures. And obviously the dream was that we would all do a solo projects, and then we would take those solo projects on tour. And it didn't work out. But you know, you try things.
But you tried the solo albums, but you decided to keep the band. You never thought...
Yeah, we were in touch with each other. You know, it was, everybody wanted to learn to fly, and we all learned to fly. Not very good, though.
Okay.
We all learned to fly a bit. When I recorded my solo album, I sort of locked myself away in a room, in a garage, and I learned to play everything. And when I did my album, I played everything, all the music, everything.
Everything,
so
all
it's
the
like going to
instruments.
school, yeah. A friend of mine was going to music school and said, would I be interested in going? And I said, hey, it sounds really good, but maybe I should just make an album. And I did this album called Elias of Sun Hillow, where I just performed all the music and sang, so like a solo album.
Okay.
Solo,
A real
on my own.
solo
And I
album.
went through madness to figure that out.
Okay.
Because if you don't know what it is, how do you figure it out? So you have to go through and search your soul, and where's the power?
What was the way to search your
great.
soul?
Oh, just work, just, you know, practice.
What kind of thing? Like,
Just you practice pieces of music
Okay,
over and
music.
over and over and over again till you play it right.
like a
And
kind
that
of
can
music
drive you
therapy?
crazy.
Musical therapy? It's
Yeah,
kinda-
yeah, it was wonderful, and so it was good to come out the other end.
Okay.
So I learned, in a way, that about that time, that maybe I was being too oppressive to the band, to the musicians. I was being too dominant.
Hard coach.
Maybe I should back off now, you know. So I did. And the last piece of music that I wrote was called Awaken,
Okay.
Going for the One. That was the last time that I would say, I want to do this. Come with me, I want to go this way. And we did Awaken, which to me is still a really great piece of music.
You left the band in '98. A lot of people thought that the band...
It was in
Couldn't go on.
1980.
98, yeah. But
Well, again, because I felt that I felt that the band was not functioning very well.
Okay.
It was like we'd been together for 11 years, and we hardly had time away from each other. It was great, but then you start getting really tired of each other.
Yeah.
And the feelings of, oh, you need some freedom, you know, freedom from this, freedom from that. And we went to Paris to make an album, and I think the record company was saying to a couple of the guys, why don't you get a producer? And so I said, you know, Yes produces itself. If it has its own, a good engineer, the Yes can do it itself. We don't need anybody to tell us what to play, how to play, because we're all very, very good. But the record company started talking to a couple of the guys and say, you know, you could make better records than this, you know, and you could have bigger hit records because foreigners sell so many, and you don't sell so many. You say all this kind of thing, you know. And I said, okay. So they brought this guy in who loves to party. Just loves to party. Paul. My friend Paul, he knows him very well. And so what happens? The band finish up partying all the time and no music. So I just left, Rick left, and okay, if they want to go out all night and get out of the brains, fine. That's not a group for me. So I went to live in south of France and record with Vangelis.
Okay, and then?
That was like two years. For me, it was good because I knew I was still going to make music, and I was still very interested in making music. I wasn't interested in partying.
And you made music with Mike Oldfield? And
yeah, do a lot of different things. You
Tangerine
know,
Dream.
I wrote some ballet music for the Scottish Ballet, and I wrote some music for an opera, and I wrote some music. I started to write theatre music, and that's a very slow process. I've just finished 2 pieces that I've been working 8 years on, and they'll come next year into theatre. So it takes time to discover that side of your stuff.
E vamos aí seguindo então com o John Anderson. No próximo bloco ele vai falar sobre as capas do Yes. Tem algumas bandas que se destacam pelas capas, não é mesmo? Vide Iron Maiden e tal, pegaram Derek Riggs ali para desenhar. O Yes pegou Roger Dean, que é fantástico. No próximo bloco, John Anderson falando um pouquinho sobre Roger Dean. Anderson, vocalista do Yes. Agora ele vai falar sobre temas interessantes. Primeiro, Roger Dean, o idealizador das capas do Yes, chama muita atenção. Quando você vai pegar um disco do Yes, fala, nossa, que capa maravilhosa, era o tal do Roger Dean. Ele vai conversar um pouquinho sobre ele. Também vai falar sobre Yes na América do Sul, como que os outros empresários lá de fora veem o Brasil e a América do Sul também, aquela coisa. E vai terminar falando um pouquinho sobre a mensagem ecológica de John Anderson, conferindo agora John.
I'd like you to talk about the covers of the albums. With Roger Dean, how you didn't get in touch with him, you know?
Yeah, Roger was like somebody that Steve Howe knew very well. So I like the idea of creating, Yes, like something to look at. Like the album, it's got to be part of the music, and even the T-shirts or the note paper, the office, it should have an energy of itself, you know. I thought that was always a good idea. So we used Roger quite a lot, you know.
Not only for the covers, but for the stage as well.
Yeah, stage designs. I mean, total madness, you know. It's like,
that's great.
It was, it worked a lot, you know. But then you start getting into the theater of rock and roll, because you want to give the audience the appreciation. They're paying money to come and see you.
Yeah.
So we would spend all that money on the show, on the recording, on the stage design, and make sure that the audience will get their money's worth.
Okay.
As much as I would, you know.
Reunion of Yes, all the members, how was that?
Yeah. Well, you know, I thought about it a few years earlier, because obviously through the changes on the 90125, Trevor Rabin, working with Tony Kaye again, all these people interweaving each other. I was doing an album with Yes called Big Generator, and it took so long and so much energy out of everybody to do that I had to leave again. So I left and worked with Steve and Bill and Rick. And we called ourselves Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman and Howe.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was good. We made a good album and we toured very well. And it was very refreshing to work with them again, because I hadn't seen or worked with them for 6 or 8 years. So it was kind of cool, you know. And the thing that started to go in my head, well, wouldn't it be great to get everybody together just for a couple of shows, you know, maybe do the Albert Hall, a show in Philadelphia, and film, you know, the group together just for that. So I started to ring up Trevor. I started to ring everybody up about the idea. So they were working on some music, and I started thinking, well, maybe I could sing on their songs, and, you know, they could play on our songs, and we'll bring it together. So the album came out called Union, which was okay. It was...
was it just one album?
One album, yeah.
That's it, that's
yeah.
the story.
But the tour was the most important thing.
Okay.
And to do a song called Awaken was the real important thing, because the song Awaken was really, had something very special to say for anybody who understands the name Yes and the band Yes. Awaken is a really powerful piece of music. And I just wanted everybody to perform that. So that was the real crowning glory of doing that tour, was to do that song Awaken.
So was your idea to get everybody together again? Yeah. What about this new album of Yes that's going to be released?
We have a new one, yeah.
In September. Is there a name?
Maybe September, October. I was talking to Trevor yesterday. It's a sort of album with me and Chris and Steve. No, Steve's not in it. So Steve and Bill are not in. Okay. They don't want to be. So it's just everybody else. And it's very good and very exciting. And I think because I decided to come and tour South America with different musicians, you know, it's very hard to get Yes to tour South America. Yeah. They think it's okay, tour South America.
What about in Rock in Rio?
Rock in Rio was like a big deal, you know.
Yeah,
so.
only that.
But you know, there's a general feeling, I think, in the business that managers and people in the business only think about America.
No,
America
really?
and Europe, that's all there is. They don't know, they have no vision that there is South America, there is Asia.
That is a big market as well.
Well, market, yeah, but there is also a lot of great people down here. And now Trevor's ringing me up and saying, what's happening, what's happening? Oh, I said, we've got to come down here with Yes, you know, to Chile, Peru, Argentina, Brazil. Everybody wants to see the band, you know?
Of course.
And they say, yeah, we got to do it. So I said, we will, we have to. So,
you'll be welcome,
so
for
that's
sure.
what's going to happen.
This question, talking about ecology, like Don't Kill the Whales was composed in 78. Was this, and there was nobody talking about ecology at that time. Was it an ecological song or? Yeah,
it was understanding that, you know, the idea, we don't understand the world very much.
It's hard.
We don't understand human beings that well, but our intelligence is only very, very small. Yet we think we are seriously great gods, you know. And we can destroy ourselves very quickly if we carry on being stupid and not understanding our fellow beings. We don't know much about what real trees are about, or flowers. We don't know much about that. You know, the flowers have three things they do. They give you color, which is beautiful, fragrance, and they sing.
They sing.
They make music. We can't hear it like, you know, but they make this sound. So when someone gives you flowers, you always give it like a present, like get well or I love you, etc. The flowers are, and they're there, you feel them, and there's a sound they create. And we will find this sound maybe when we get more involved with laser sound reproduction, because laser is a gift from another dimension.
Okay.
These are things we don't know about. So when you're singing about the great animals and the fish of the ocean, you realize we don't know much about what they do, and there's a lot of intelligence out there, and we have to be a little bit more respectful.
For sure.
That's all.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
E foi o libelo ecológico de John Anderson, falou um monte, divagou legal, tô com ele não abre, certo? O homem realmente não se conhece, muito menos a natureza. E vamos finalizando então essa série de clássicos especiais. Sempre que possível, o Clássicos vai trazer alguém assim de nome mesmo. Os 4 que pintaram por aqui, tá louco, né? Ian Anderson, de Jethro Tull, John Anderson, Yes, Carl Palmer, bateríssima do Emerson Lake and Palmer, e mais Steve Hackett, ex-Genesis. Todo mundo que pintar por aqui, sabe só que um superstar, quando chega nesse nível de estrelato, o cara realmente é mais difícil, não gosta de ceder muitas entrevistas. Esses 4 que vieram aqui, os 4 foram super gentis, conversaram mesmo, ninguém botou nenhum empecilho assim. Ou você não quer conversar sobre alguma coisa? Não, fica à vontade e tal. Foram 4 gentlemen, grande programa, vamos ficando por aqui. Valeu, assim que possível, teremos mais. Até mais.